Hi and welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben and this is my review for Antoine Fuqua's Emancipation, the one with Will Smith. But before I get into that, it is December the 6th and we are doing advent calendars, a Star Wars advent calendar. So let's see what today's figure is. Okay, what do we have? What do we have? Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. With snowflakes. Obviously the hair, it's all there. Very, very cute. Let's jump into the review. A runaway slave forges through the swamps of Louisiana on a torturous journey to escape plantation owners that nearly killed him. Starring Will Smith as our protagonist, Ben Foster as Jim Fassel, the guy that is chasing after him, and a number of other actors that are very good at what they do. You love to hate them. I'm not gonna lie, there's a few times in this film that I found myself getting really angry. It's a film I could definitely not watch with my wife. If you've ever seen any sort of films that are slavery that affect you on an emotional level, this is one of them. And if maybe you are too affected by these type of stories, then maybe this is one for you to miss, which is unfortunate because the way it's filmed is incredible. The cinematographer here captures exactly, well, it feels like they've captured an authenticity. At the same time, you have the scope of the shots to personal shots. It's shot in black and white, sort of, because the shrubbery or the greenery is still there. You can see the greens. You can also see the flames of the fire in their actual colors. It's very off-putting, and everybody else is a sort of gray palette tone. And so you have those moments of shrubbery standing out. You have the fire standing out, and then sometimes their clothes suddenly appear to have some sort of color in it. Purposefully done, very powerful as well. When you get the wide shots of the swamps, you get the vastness and the emptiness of it, except for the wildlife that's all there. And then when you're going through personal, say you, because you're definitely on Will Smith's side, his character that he plays, Peter Quincy.
The show must go on.
He shows an emotional range that I love seeing from Will Smith. I will be doing my top 5 favorite Will Smith films at the end, and the reason why I mentioned favorite is because this might not be in that. You'll have to check out at the end, because there are films that I love to watch with Will Smith that I come back to for fun. But then there are some films that Will Smith does for a sort of, again, getting his teeth into the character, like Ali. This is one of those. The range of emotion that he plays, the tortured soul that he plays, is just phenomenal. I hope everybody's forgiven him for the slap, because it's unfortunate that he won't be able to win an Oscar for this film. He definitely deserves it. It's an Oscar-worthy performance. And even saying that feels like a disservice, because these days the Oscars don't actually hold up that much regard. There's a sour taste when you think about the Oscars. More like the other awards hold a higher regard for, you know, showing what you can do as an actor on screen. So when you put all these things together, Antoine Fuqua directing one of the best films he's done in years, in my personal opinion. Loved him in Training Day, certain other films. Some just don't hit the mark for me. This one is a true return to storytelling. This film is done in 3 tiers though. We have the torturous beginning of seeing what slavery is in all its glory, and they don't shy away from that. I don't think I could do any spoilers really with this film, except if you don't know the personal story, so I won't get into that. Suffice to say, what you see is harrowing from the outset. And then the middle of this film is the journey of him trying to escape with the few that have kind of run into the swamps. There's a place where they need to get to where there is freedom, because it is that time when Abe has passed the law, Mr. Lincoln himself, that slaves are free. The thing is about being free, especially in those times if you were a slave, is that you had to fight for your freedom, which is way worse. And that's where we come into the third arc. You could either go back into a sort of plantation, working on a farm under the guise of not being a slave, or go and fight the guys that have held you under that slavery for so long and did all sorts of atrocities. If you know the story of Peter particularly, there's a photograph that kind of reinvigorated, that went around the world, and they show that as a thing that kind of draws you into the character. There are a couple of moments that took my breath away in a horrible moments, and there's also a couple of moments where I teared up properly. My son's in the room and I'm trying not to cry, because Big Dad shouldn't cry. It was just very emotional in moments, even had me, you know, in tears, never mind the gulp in my throat, because of the harrowing experience that these guys, these men and women went through. And then even when they're free, it's just like, oh, you're not really free. You have to fight for that freedom. And even though you're free, people still not look at you as being free. There are moments that this film really shines a light on what it was like and tells a story without being preachy, because the whole story is you being on Peter. Talk about underdog. He is the hero, but the grit he shows, I guess the strength of character that Will Smith is able to show us is what I guess they wanted us to see, what the director wanted us to see from the character. So between Antoine Fuqua and Will Smith, they deliver one of the most powerful performances I've seen in a long time. It's also not a film I'm desperate to go back. I would watch it again, maybe in a couple of years, for the cinematography, reminding me of stories that need to keep being told until it stops being a thing. There are still 6 major countries in the world that have a huge amount of slaves. I think India, I looked up this morning, still has like a number of million of slaves. There's Korea. I'm not gonna do the exact numbers because I don't know the exact numbers and Google can be wrong. Suffice to say, we still live in a world where slavery is a big thing. So it's a story that keeps needing to be told. Very well put together. I'm going to give it a solid 4.5 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
You got one. Congratulations.
One of Will Smith's best performances. Very sad for him to not being able to be nominated for this role, but I guess there's consequences for being slapping somebody alive on television. I just wish that they could sort it out and have a conversation. I guess that's not the world we live in. However, my top 5 best favorite Will Smith films would be the ones that he did early on, ranging from his Independence Day, just fun to watch and put on at any time, that first Independence Day movie. And then I would say Pursuit of Happiness, one of the most emotional, ranging, but still enjoyable to go back to films. Then there is Bad Boys. I have very good memories of watching that original Bad Boys movie.
Bad boys, bad.
And my all-time favorite, which is for me his best performance and best film, which is Ali.
I'm staying right here.
Knocked it out of the park. The training he had to go through, Michael Mann directing that is my second favorite movie of all time. But Men in Black, probably my favorite and the one I've watched the most.
Oh, you brought that tall man some flowers.
Emancipation is not in there because it wouldn't be a film that I go back to as I call my favorite. Now, if I were ranking as in quality, it would definitely be in there. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are you going to watch this? What is your ranking of your favorite top 5 Will Smith films? Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.